I thought I would make a video about wake-up calls that one should recognize that they have a problem, right? They're not doing something socially or for a fun reason, but they actually have a problem. So many years ago, I was at a backgammon tournament. It was in New York City, and this guy that I had known for some time, he kind of surprised me a little bit. He asked me if I had a cigarette, and I told him I didn't, and I was a little bit surprised that he even smoked. And then he starts to ask almost everybody at the tournament, and I asked him, "You smoke?" And he says, "No, he doesn't smoke. He only smokes socially because he's having such a good time, or maybe a bad. I can't remember if it was good or bad, but he either wanted to celebrate winning or commiserate or something." It was at a backgammon tournament. He had traveled some distance to go there. And so clearly he didn't bring cigarettes because he didn't like the fact that he was smoking. Otherwise he would have brought several packs to the trip, right? And I was also a little bit surprised he had such a hard time getting it. I'm glad that so few people even smoke nowadays. So that was a good sign. But I'm thinking to myself, how is that a social event? The tournament is inside. You got to go down several flights of stairs to go outside. And then you got to go like 50 feet away from the building, right? Because smoke can travel a lot farther than virus particles, right? Virus particles only 6 feet, but smoke some 50 feet in New York City at least, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, how is that even a social event? You're social distancing yourself. I didn't think of it as social distancing at the time, but you're pulling yourself away from everybody else just to do something that practically nobody in the tournament is doing. How is that a social event? Now fast forward 5 years later, and now I run into my own troubles. So in early 2020, I made it a New Year's resolution to normalize my relationship with food, because too often I was pulling myself away from events to tend to my food cravings, right? I was living in Seattle, Washington, but I often liked to go on vacation to Missoula, Montana, but oftentimes the entire trip was punctuated by me having to think about where to stop for food, where to eat, messes in the car from eating. I would be in the middle of going out with my girlfriend, and all of a sudden I get this unusual food craving out of nowhere. When I was living in New York, one night I had a girlfriend come over and stay overnight, and at 2 in the morning I wanted to go out to get a seaweed snack, if I remember correctly. And my girlfriend thought I was crazy, and she thought it was unsafe. I don't know why she knew New York more than I did. I had lived there for 5 months by that point, but she had family members who lived there, and she thought it was unsafe that I was going out at 2 or 3 in the morning. And it probably was, but definitely less safe than not leaving the home for sure, right? But my food cravings overrode that thought, right? So you can see those are not fun events, right? To go out at 2 or 3 in the morning, to be late arriving on my vacation, to not being able to enjoy. My last wake-up call was last week. This is why I'm doing the fast today. I've been eating roughly once a day for many months now. Usually I'll give myself a 3-4 hour window to eat once a day. I had just started digging into my food when the phone had rang. It was my dean at the university where I'm an adjunct professor, and he had exciting news. There's new coursework that needed to be written. The problem is that as I was talking to him, my mouth kept salivating. I was prepped up to eat, because I had been fasting 21 hours by this point. And I rushed through the conversation a little bit more so than I might have had I not had those desires. And who knows, I might have been able to do better on the contract, but at least I got it, and it's a good, it could have been worse, let's put it that way. But as soon as I hung up the phone, oh my God, I need to do something about this. And then I looked on my Facebook, and Evelina Falenta, she turned 42 on October 24th, so I decided that would be a good opportunity in her honor. I really like her because she and I are actually Facebook friends, if you can believe it. I like her because she doesn't let being single get in the way of her professional life. She's a singer-songwriter. And having those intrusive cravings, the analogy I like to make is, I don't know how many of my viewers are old enough to remember compact discs that we used to listen to music on. You ever had a compact disc that was scratched and it would skip, and you're listening to a beautiful symphony, right? Maybe Pastoral, right? One of my favorite symphonies, and you get to, and then it goes da 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 da. See, when I need to focus on my meetings, it's a beautiful meeting. I need to focus on a backgammon tournament or something, and then I get this intrusive craving. It's like, okay, I'm playing backgammon, I roll a beautiful double six, right? Da 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 da. It really does feel like that sometimes. It becomes a big wake-up call that we need to do something, right? And I'm surprised the guy at the backgammon tournament didn't see that his smoking wasn't social, it was antisocial.